So obviously I tattoo. I like to keep it old school, have everything. Been tattooing for like over 20 years. Slowed down a lot. Used to have a lot of fun with it. But I just wanted to show, how into it I was. Had a lot of sketches. My son, my son. Used to have a lot of sketches that I've drawn. My son, he draws some too. I'm into Leonardo stuff. It's just so beautiful. His stuff is so beautiful. I love it. I study the way he is. But I've studied a lot. Like I have so many different things. I used to have this big book that I used to. There's so many in here to go by. But like stuff like this I used to have, and that's how I started myself. I've never met a tattooist. I've never been to a tattoo shop. I just started myself and taught myself, and I became really really good. Extra good. I'm actually real good. Never had a complaint. But I have so many tattoos to go by. I used to read these books like if they were Bibles, like non-stop, stayed till nighttime, till the morning time. Just looking at these, looking at them, and looking at them, looking at them. I actually did these. I remember that. But yeah, I used to stay here just looking at them, and the more you stare at them, the more you realize how they're done and what outline is what. And I used to look at other people's work, and it's inspired me very much to a point that that I just became real good. I just taught myself to have patience and the outlines and shadings, and but then I got into needles, and then I got into mixing colors, and I just got so good that to a point that really I almost scared myself because I was like, there's so many people that are good out there that I want to get to that point, but you also don't want to do it for cheap and for free. So I want to do some good tattoos, but I also want to get paid for it. I love that one. I ended up coloring that one. The elbow opens his mouth, then it closes it. This guy's son's name is Raiden, and not Raiders. And then he got hit by a car. Then he made it all bloody. It became ugly, but this was a see no evil, hear no evil, and then you see how how it was see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. Medusa. I did I've done so many, but I've drawn so much more than people even realize. Like I've drawn, I used to stay up drawing pictures. Just to give you a little taste, I'll show you just a little bit. I'll show you a mountain. Back then, it was all about pictures. Now you can just Google, it'll print out. Like in my printer, I print it out, and that's it. You pick it on your phone. But before, you had to have people look through a stack of papers, and just to give you a visual of how high it is. You know, I mean, I drawn every single one of these. Then I, you know, then I copied them. Then I had copies of them. Then I had, extra copies. I mean, I stayed up day and night just drawing and drawing and drawing. There's a lot of mixed stuff in here. This is actually the first time I ever tattooed with a hand needle in my mom's house. I was about 16 years old there. This is that original picture. I love that. But I've drawn. I mean, I've drawn all these pictures, and I practiced on eyes, and I mean, there's just so many things that I mean, I could go through. I've gone through these papers, like 1,000 million times with people. But like I said, I put a stitch stick together, and I mean, you can see that it's actually tape on it because I had to match it to somebody, you know. But like I said, I've drawn and drawn. I used to stay up. I mean, not sleeping. You know, I used to have a regular job, but I used to, draw and draw. And look at how I gotta go through if I want to show you. You know, I've drawn and drawn, and all my life I've drawn so many pictures in my life that I got so many drawings. It's ridiculous. But I just wanted to show you guys, you know, that I one time in my life was dedicated to drawing, to studying it. And a lot of people say, well, you have to do this, take classes, blah, blah, blah. Well, you know what? I'm sorry, but I taught myself. This is what I just drew not too long ago. That's my drawing to finish the hair, as you can see. The cafe, it's all ugly. But that was a recent one. But you don't have to. I'm sorry, but you don't have to go to classes and do all this and do all this. I see this on, on the internet now. People showing and outlining and what needles and how to use them and how deep and all of that. I taught myself. I taught myself. I know how deep to go. I know how to clean it. I know how to stress the skin. I know what needles to use. I know how to use them. I know how to, you know, how to stay clean. I used to have a shop in downstairs, and when you walk in, it was like a shop. It was like a straight up shop. And I tattooed from. I get out at 4 o'clock from my factory job, stay till like 5 in the morning, tattooing, then sleep 2 hours and go to work. And I used to do this non-stop until I taught myself. I taught myself. Nobody taught me. That stack there, I drew that stack. I studied all these. I studied all these books. I studied a lot more. They're just not here, or somewhere else. I don't know, and probably in those drawers and stuff like that. But once a week I would go to Papillon or over there and buy 2 bottles of ink, big ones, and some new needles and new thing, new this. Every week I did about something new. But then 5 years ago, 5 years ago, sorry, 5 years ago, my younger brother, uh, USMC, took his life. There she is. And he was the one that inspired me, that told me, hey, you should start tattooing, Eddie. And I was like, nah, bro, I don't know how to do that. And he's like, bro, I could feel it in you. I know you could. And I was like, nah, man, I'm not that type. And he's like, dude, he got me a machine. He got me some drawings first. He got me some clients. And from the get, boom, he was there cheering me on. And yeah, you could do it. Look, you could do it. And come to know, yeah, I tattooed my butt off. And I was good. And nobody taught me. I taught myself, and I was good. Nobody could say I was not good. There was not one person that came to me that complained. There was not one cover up that wasn't a cover up. You know what I'm saying? There was not. I was nice to everybody that came in. It was not like, oh, they come in money. No, it was music, there was beer, yeah, it was blunts, it was all that. I treat everybody like gold. And if they didn't have the money, I just did it anyways. But 5 years ago, he took his life. He went away. And from there on, I stopped. I stopped. And guess what? I stopped. And everybody around that used to come, stop coming here too. I got fucked up in my head. I was taking pills. And I've been alone fucking ever since. But I taught myself. And this nigga right here, that boy right here, my brother, was the one that taught me. Told me you could do this shit. But I stopped. Because he left. that joy of wanting to tattoo, that joy of just wanting to, went away. Just went away. So, you know, that person, take advantage of that person that's pushing you forward. Because there's not another person like that in my life that pushes me like he did. None. Nobody. Nobody. USMC. Semper Fi, Mike.